Rochester Real Estate, featuring Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group RE Results and Andy Brownell. Here's Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk, 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good morning and welcome to a holiday weekend, Labor Day weekend. I'm Andy Brownell on News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM, along with Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group RE Results. Good morning, Robin.
Good morning, Andy.
So, you sent me over a report that you send out every month to folks who want to receive it about the real estate market here in the Rochester area, and I'm still trying to digest it, but it certainly seems that it's been very, very busy.
Oh my gosh, I just get tired looking at these numbers, honest to God. So, in the last 6 months in the Rochester, and when I say the Rochester market, of course I'm including, Byron and Stewartville and, the very close surrounding areas.
Sure.
Okay? All right. So in this market, we have had 1,275 sold, meaning closed, physically closed units in the last 6 months, with an additional 317 that have gone pending. So that means 1,592 basically houses that either went under contract or closed. And that's in 6 months, and we have 244 active left.
Wow, that's not many.
It's not many at all. So looking at a report that came out by CMAR, it went just through the end of July, so now we could tack on the end of August, but through the end of July, we were literally up 20.4% on closed transactions from this time this year compared to this time last year. And crazily enough, we are down 37.3% in inventory.
Yeah, that just doesn't seem to work, but it does.
It means if you want to sell your house, get it ready, get it on the market, and get it sold. Boom, 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 boom.
A seller's market in need. So that number up 20-some% is from the beginning of the year?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
So there is no downturn in the real estate market, that's for sure.
And that it's just so funny because there are still those people that are asking me, when is the bubble going to burst? When is the bottom going to fall out? When are things going to turn the other way? And of course, I don't have a crystal ball, but there is absolutely no indicators on the horizon that any of that is going to happen.
No,
okay?
what you've just told me is that there's demand.
There's big time demand. And of course, the interest rates are still phenomenally low. So, the fact that people are out there to buy, chomping at the bit to buy, and there's not much inventory, and they're going to fight over the ones that do come on the market, pay premium prices, it just really, and even with building, even with the lumber costs going up, building is still booming. I mean, it's absolutely booming.
That's good for everybody. We said that we were talking about that last week.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've looked at these numbers in the past, and there always seems to be a sweet spot. Is there any priced home that's selling, that's dominating the sold or closing or pending?
It's a good question because normally I will tell you always, it's anything that's in that what we call first-time home buyer price range, which has gone way up from what it used to be. I mean, really now, anything that's between $200,000 and $300,000 has always been the consistent sweet spot. But with COVID and people wanting more space to spread out, there's just as many people out there looking for bigger homes as there are people out there looking for first homes. And maybe because then they can sell their current home to somebody who's willing to pay premium price for their first home, and then these guys can move up into that bigger home where they have a couple of home offices or a separate space for home learning, distance learning, or whatever you call it.
Yeah. You and I don't have the kids involved, so we can
Thank goodness. Every day I say, oh my gosh,
yeah.
I am so happy. I'm not one of those people that are trying to do my full-time job and teach my kids all at the same time. My heart goes out to those people.
Well, mine as well. I have close friends and neighbors who are dealing with it today or yesterday, actually, because we've got the weekend upon us. But yeah, it's been a stressful first week of school.
I bet.
Okay, I guess the interest rates must be the key to all of this because it's allowing people to move up because of the buying power that they have.
Right. Yep. Yeah, I've been talking to a lot of people about this lately because people that don't understand, like, how can things still be going so well? And it's not just here in Rochester. I mean, every agent I talk to across the nation, the real estate market is still fantastic. So it has to be the interest rate. You know, many times I'll say, well, you know, I say we're so steady here because we have Mayo Clinic, but the bottom line is it's the same everywhere. So the real estate market is booming. People are buying, and of course the number one driving factor has got to be the interest rates.
But also, I imagine too, everybody's lifestyle's changed.
Yeah.
So
we're spending more time at home, so it's important that we really like our home, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I know we've put a bunch into our house this year, you know, new paint and landscaping and those sort of things, and we have more plans.
Yeah. You and everybody else. Houses have never looked so good.
I was talking to a guy who does windows and doors.
Yeah.
And he's booked out almost to next summer.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a few upgrades this year as well. We took out the old black granite and put in white quartz, and we had the creative curb appeal done in our lawn and upgraded our landscaping, and then we did that underdecking, and everybody is busy.
So is there a downside to this market other than the inventory? Obviously, that's the downside. You don't have enough homes to supply the demand.
Well, and you know, the biggest downside, and this could be the subject for one entire show, but the biggest downside is, you know, those prices keep getting driven up. We just have such a lack of what's truly affordable housing, you know. Thank God the interest rates are low so that people can afford to get into these 200, 250, you know, 300. But I had one friend, her son took a job in Iowa as a mechanic because housing was less. You know, he's in some rural Iowa. So I feel like I'm actually really hoping that people are going to say, all right, well, you know what? One way to get a less expensive house is to move to these little outlying towns like Wabasha and Kellogg and Plainview. And now that I don't have to drive every day because Mayo is letting me work from home, it makes perfectly good sense to do that.
Well, even if you do have to drive.
Even if you do have to drive.
It's not a crazy commute, especially...
No, I know somebody who does it.
But we've talked about this before. If you were coming from a larger city, let's say.
Sure.
Not even, you know, Minneapolis.
Even up in the Twin Cities, right.
A normal commute in the Twin Cities is half an hour to 40 minutes.
Right, and they might live 12 miles from work.
Right.
So, it's exactly right. I always tell people that, too. I'm like, guys, listen, I'm on the road 45 minutes in the morning, and I've actually traveled 40 miles. It's good. It's easy. It's easy.
And you got something to look at as you're traveling instead of
and it's important because I'm there for my parents, and that's what I need to be, you know. So it's all good.
It's very, very interesting marketplace. It's not completely unexpected because I know you predicted it. But it's,
and I'm optimistic, and so people would say, "Oh, you're just too positive. You're just too," and I'm like, "No, I honestly think if you do the research and you read and you see what's going to happen, I think that it's going to be the housing economy that's going to have to keep the entire economy going throughout the pandemic." And it has served to do just that.
Right, because if I'm moving up even from my first home to a second or third home, and it's a larger square footage home, what do I got to do? I've got to buy new window treatments. I've got to buy additional furniture. I've got to buy
keep the moving company in business, and all of that.
A larger
lawnmower. Get yours ready to sell. So you're buying the paint and you're doing the landscaping. Yeah. I mean, the whole thing is just a really one big circle. You know, it's just the I don't know.
Well, it is.
I'm trying to say.
No, it's always the housing market of the economy has always been one of the biggest keys to driving the entire thing.
Right.
Jobs. Well, you know what? We already have to take a break, so we're going to take a really quick break, and we're going to come back and talk more with Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group RE results right here at News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
This is Bruce Helmer, host of Your Money and co-founder of Wealth Enhancement Group.
Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good morning and welcome back. I'm Andy Brownell along with Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group RE Results on News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM. As always, talking about the Rochester real estate market. And we went through the statistics show. Right now it's hot. It's hotter than it was a year ago.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Everything is so distorted or different than it usually is because of the pandemic. What are we looking at going forward as we head into the fall, considering how this is 2020?
Well, I expect the market to stay very, very healthy as long as the weather is on our side. I think we're going to be selling houses very quickly. I feel like people are still going to be out, looking at them full forces. So I feel sort of like, and if I've said this once, I've said it 100 times, but I feel sort of like July, August, September is our spring market. Right? And I feel like when we get into October, November, December, instead of approaching our winter market, even though our weather will still be winter, I feel like we're going to be approaching our summer market and then our fall market. So I really do not see much downtime at all for the rest of this year, except maybe the week of the holidays, between Christmas and New Year's. But Otherwise, I expect it to stay completely steady. And I've talked to everybody on the team to just be prepared, that little bit of a lag that we get kind of going into fall and winter. I don't expect to see it at all.
We didn't see it last year, did we?
Not really, because we had the same issue with the inventory being low, So when people who missed out on several houses in the summer jumped on them when they came in the fall.
And I also wonder, with the start of the school year and people dealing with working at home and the distance learning, those that didn't make the move during the summer anticipating the space needs might be going, we got to go look, because now we're living through this. It's actually happening.
I was just going to say the same thing. Thinking about it and doing it are two different things. So by the time the kids have been going to school for a couple of weeks and the parents are going crazy trying to get their jobs done, it's going to be like, okay, seriously, we need to spread out a little bit, people. And you're right. I think we're just going to continue to see constant, steady inventory. I mean, not inventory, but steady sales.
So how fast can you build those townhomes out northwest?
I know, right? So, that's the thing. The first 8 are gone, right? And so those, the ones that we're doing out by Essex Park, we have 2 that are they're completed and ready to be moved into. So hopefully, those are going to sell quickly as well. And I feel like, I feel so positive about everything that's going on in the market right now. It's all good.
Yeah, even the stock market, I think there's growing confidence, consumer confidence out there, where maybe 4 months ago there was no consumer confidence. There was just, what the heck is going to happen? And I think a lot of that anxiety is lessening, to say the very least.
Well, and people say to me all the time, how is this going to change after the election? Well, I don't see it changing. I feel like no matter who wins or loses, we're going to have a president. We're going to have a president that some people are happy about. We're going to have a president that some people aren't. I mean, it's no different than any other election year, but it doesn't change the fact that people need houses. And it doesn't change the fact that the interest rates are going to stay low. I mean, that's pretty much common knowledge that those rates are not going to go up anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't see it, regardless of who won the election, any pressure to raise interest rates. That's
correct.
For sure.
Correct.
And you pointed out, it's always the stock market that reacts to the presidential election, and then usually it's a short response one way or the other. And then a few weeks down the road, it all evens out anyway.
Correct. So. And I feel like, certainly there are parts of the country where this pandemic has taken a much harder toll than it has on us here in Rochester and the surrounding area. And we're very blessed and lucky to not have suffered the way some parts of the country have. I mean, when I turn on the news and I see some people waiting in hour-long lines to get food, and then, of course, the places that have been wiped out by natural disaster, and oh my gosh, things could be so much worse. And I just feel like, yeah, we've gotten used to wearing face masks, not that big of a deal. We've gotten used to not having large gatherings. A lot of people have changed their wedding plans, and I mean, it is what it is, but it certainly has not, and I do not think will have any kind of a negative effect on the real estate market. That's what I can speak to.
Yeah, well, especially on the price of your home. The evidence points to your home is worth more money now,
right,
than it was a few months ago.
Right, and it is just going to continue to go up. So, I mean, that's the magic of it all.
So what you got to do now is come up with some sort of magical way to create more inventory.
Right, exactly. I mean, I beg. Every week I say, if you want to sell your house, please call me. It works. I usually get a couple. And I think last week I listed 4 or 5 new houses, which have all sold.
Wow.
So, yeah, no, they come on, they go off. They come on, they go off. But it's a lot of fun.
So you are getting the multiple offer type situations like
absolutely.
You should have had in the spring.
Oh, we absolutely are. Yes.
Gosh. Okay.
Yep.
The evidence is there, right?
It is. So, yeah, perfect time. I mean, we know it. You've been cleaning, you've been organizing, you've been painting your walls, you've been doing your landscaping. Your house has never looked better. Time to sell it.
Time to sell it and give Robin a call.
I like it.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to continue on chatting with Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results in just a few moments here on News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Excuse me. I know you have a 9 o'clock, so I'll keep this short. I'm the business suit in the back.
To Rochester Real Estate with Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results and Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome back. I'm Andy Brownell on News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results on our Saturday morning chat. We keep mentioning the pandemic and COVID and the impact on the marketplace and prices and the economy. And I haven't talked to you in a long, or at least I don't even. We've talked about how since the early days of the pandemic. How's it working now with real estate? What's happening with your team and the office and the actual operations?
I miss my team. I miss my team. I'm about Zoom meetinged out, okay? I just want to get back to be able to have meetings with everybody. We did have one in June. We met out at the Stone Barn, so we had the whole big barn, so we were able to spread out and just have a couple people at a table, and we had an area that holds 200 people for 30 of us, so it was really nice. And we got to have our leader of our Strengths Finder, Bethany von Steinberg, came in, and we had a really fun time. And we're going to do that again in September, and I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody because, honestly, people are staying out of the office. I mean, once in a while, you'll see somebody come in. We have a couple of our admin are working from home, and we have Cammie working in the office, but she's here alone often, probably more than anyone. I come in, at least 3 or 4 days a week, just because I have, time in between appointments, so I'll just spend it at the office. Whereas, like back in spring, March and April, May even, we were staying home and then just clumping a couple appointments together, coming out, doing those appointments, and going right back home. So it feels good to be back at the office, but it's still quiet at the office. There's not a lot of people around. I will say we had a big celebration at RE/MAX last week, and we had 3 of the agents were celebrating milestones, a couple 25 years, one 30 years, and they had like a instead of a luncheon or anything, they had like to-go lunches. You could stop in. You could just pick up one and go, but they had to number the people that were in the area at the time. But it was still fun. Everybody went outside, took a big picture by the RE/MAX balloon, and it felt like, oh, yay, there's life in the building. You know, it just feels good. And I've talked to so many of my clients that are struggling, too. They're like, I don't love working at home. I miss people. You know, I miss the interaction. So, I mean, we still have the interaction with our clients, of course. You know, it's a little bit different. We don't take them in our cars with them and drive them around. We just meet them at the houses, and they follow us from house to house. And, you know, we've changed our practices in that way, but we still have, you know, constantly on the phone and texting and emailing with our clients as well as with our team members, but really missing the team members face to face, I'll tell you that.
So I know you always had the Monday morning meetings.
I miss it so bad.
So you do that by Zoom now, I take it?
You know, we started to, but it's hard when you have such a big group to be on a Zoom call. So I just kind of break it down to individual meetings, you know, whether they're FaceTime or Zoom or phone calls. You know, I just kind of keep in touch with everybody. So I spend a lot of my time talking to my team members and staying in touch. I just don't get to physically be with them as much.
Yeah. So is the paperwork side of this different now?
No, because luckily, you know, that's something that in our industry we've been doing, you know, electronic signatures and emailing contracts for signatures for, you know, a few years now. So we were ready to roll when the pandemic came. We didn't really have to change that at all.
That's that DocuSign type stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
Authentisign, DocuSign, yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them that do that.
I mean, clearly they can't do that for the closing. They still have to come in person. But we talked about that a few months ago, how they even had the drive-through tents where they would just hand you the clipboard and have you sign. You didn't even have to get out of your car. We just accommodate as needed, right, to keep things going. But those things are all looking more normal. They're even letting the agents come back to the closings now, which is great. It's such a celebration, you know, to be at the closing with your client at the end of the whole process. And I just hated it when they said, sorry, the only person that can come is the persons, you know, the people that are signing. No lenders, no realtors. But they've opened that back up again too. So as long as we're sitting, you know, spread apart at the table and wearing our masks, we're good.
I bet you did miss that because
I hated it.
Every member of your team that I've met and talked to for this program, the number one thing they like about the job is the smile that you see when everybody signs on the dotted line.
Yeah, it's really exciting. It really is. You feel like I helped them get here, and this is a huge accomplishment, and it's exciting. You know, it's an exciting time in their life, and it's fun to be there to celebrate it. But we're back, so we get to be there again. It's awesome.
I suppose everybody's like everybody else. We've all kind of just now we're doing things different, and it's actually becoming.
It's becoming
routine.
The COVID normal. I heard that. Tagline. Okay. It's COVID normal.
So we all know our new etiquette when we go to open houses and things like that, everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like you do when you get to a restaurant and, you know, people get up to go to the bathroom, they automatically put their mask back on. I mean, yeah, it's not that big of a deal, people.
We can adapt when we need to, that's for sure.
We can, absolutely.
So you have coming up later this month, still have the plans going on for the grand opening.
Oh, I'm so excited. Our Wabasha office is coming along. It's looking so fantastic. I can't wait for people to see it. So, yes, we're going to do a big grand opening on Friday, September 25th from 3 o'clock until 8 o'clock. And we're going to have food, of course, and we're even going to have live music. The Chubs are going to play in Heritage Park, which is the park under the bridge in Wabasha, which happens to be right outside of our office door. So we're going to have giveaways. We've got the Gwaltney Group sunglasses, and, of course, we've got Gwaltney Group masks and hand sanitizers. So, you know, we are very up in with the times, right, on what the cool things are to give away. But anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun, and we want people to come and check out our building. And then we have this beautiful listing over in Wabasha that you and I have talked about, that gorgeous house on the river. And we're going to actually anybody that comes to the grand opening on Friday, we're going to be giving out tickets for tours of that house, because it's not really, a lot of times when you get into the high-end homes, people don't just want everybody who's curious to come looking at it, right? And so we don't want to just let everybody walk through it just to do it, especially during COVID, right? Because we'd have hundreds of people going through that house. So we're going to be giving out tickets, and then each weekend throughout Septoberfest, which is the celebration of Wabasha, we're going to take tours through the house with people who've been given tickets at our grand opening. So it'll be fun.
Another reason to put that on your calendar.
Absolutely.
So if I want to get if I have a home and I've actually been thinking about selling, and now we've been listening to you and I chat and realize this is the seller's market you've been waiting for, or
yes, absolutely is.
You want to buy one of those homes, how do they get a hold of Robin Gwaltney?
Well, certainly call my cell phone. I always have my cell phone, and I always answer it. That phone number is 507-259-4926, or you can visit us at gwaltneygroup.com.
All right, Robin, always a pleasure to chat with you, and we'll do it again next week.
Enjoy the rest of the weekend.
You too. Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results here on News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Mayo Clinic Radio on the House.